Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Chatter. Notice how I said good evening, and the reason for that is that I got a new printer which has to be plugged into my laptop at all times, which means now I can no longer record my show in the kitchen or the living room or anywhere else. It has to be here. So I decided to move Coffee Chatter to evenings. It will always be on Tuesdays, but it will be in the evening. That way I do not have to battle with the sun coming through my windows. We have a very short show this week, so I'll try to stretch it out as long as possible without getting too annoying. First off, our cold case section. We're jumping right to cold cases this week. We're in Michigan this week, and it's a fairly recent case. On January 6th, 2006, at approximately 1:45 a.m., Brittany Harry was fatally shot near the intersection of Highland Street and Maplewood Ave in the city of Saginaw. Harry was shot while in a vehicle parked in the garage of a residence on Maplewood Ave on the south side of Saginaw. The vehicle did not belong to her, and it is unknown if she was the intended victim. The other occupant was wounded during the shooting. Anyone with information about this case is asked to contact the Michigan State Police at 517-204-0808 or email msp-saginawcoldcase@michigan.gov. I have a lot of movies to watch this week, as I've watched a lot of movies this week. Two of them I'm not yet done yet, but I got through enough of the movie to give a review of it. And the other one I did watch all the way through. The one that I did watch all the way through was called School Ties. In School Ties, we follow a young Jewish boy who is sent to a preparatory school called St. Matthew's and decided to hide the fact that he is Jewish in an attempt to fit in. He becomes the star quarterback and is in the running for a full scholarship at Harvard. He befriends the majority of the team almost immediately and even steals Dylan's girlfriend, even though she says they are not together. In the end, the girl finds out he is Jewish because he was not openly honest with her. She leaves him. The movie was really good and starred Ben Affleck as well as Kevin Tighe as the football coach. The only problem I had with the movie was they ended it on a bad spot, and it left me wondering if he actually got into Harvard or not. They didn't even show him graduating from the prep school. They ended it right before graduation. And I know it's a cliffhanger, but those movies annoy me. Anyway, the next movie, back to the 60s for the next movie, Lilies of the Field. This movie is really old. In fact, it's in black and white when you watch it on Hulu. This movie came out in 1963 and is a favorite to many people. It's about a devout Mother Superior who believes a visitor to their location is going to build them a new church. It's an old-fashioned feel-good movie about the kindness of strangers if you give them a chance. I'm not really sure what order these nuns were part of, because in the movie they switch between wearing Amish-style clothing to work outside and then their habits to work inside, which I don't really know an order that does that. So if anybody knows what order those nuns were from, you're more than welcome to comment on them and let me know. The next movie is also a Catholic movie, although some people would question it once they find out what it's about. This movie is called Priest. Simple title, Priest. This movie came out in 1994 and is about a parish priest who battles with the fact that he believes he is gay and has a lover. The reason I was drawn to this movie was because I wanted to see the director's take on this deep of a plot and wanted to see if he played it up at all to make it look fake. So far, it seems to be pretty realistic. While I know being gay and being a priest in the Catholic religion is contradictory, the movie fits the stigma that many non-Catholics and even some Catholics put priest in. If they're a priest, they must be gay. It actually shows that, unfortunately, in some cases this is true, but the majority of priests are not gay. There were some areas that could have used a little work, but all in all, it's an interesting movie. One TV show that I did watch finally on Hulu is called The Girly Ghost Hunters. This show is no longer on TV and never really was on TV in the United States. It comes from the Canadian Space Channel and ended its run in 2005 after only one season. I can see why. The show follows a group of female ghost hunters as they explore different areas. It's just like any other paranormal ghost hunting show. You can take or leave the evidence they show, but it's interesting entertainment to watch how they use the monitors and gadgets. And they're actually really stupid. They seem like they're afraid of what they're doing, and it's like, well, if you're afraid of a ghost, then why are you a ghost hunter? Duh. It's kind of hard talking with a fan blowing in your face, but the fan is needed because it's humid over here today. Reflection Corner. Our first reading is from the first book of Kings, chapter 17, verses 7 through 16. After some time, however, the brook ran dry, because no rain had fallen in the land. So the Lord said to him, "Move on to Zarephath of Sidon, and stay there. I have designated a widow there to provide for you." He left and went to Zarephath. As he arrived at the entrance of the city, a widow was gathering sticks there. He called out to her, "Please bring me a small cupful of water to drink." She left to get it, and he called out after her, "Please bring along a bit of bread." "As the Lord your God lives," she answered, "I have nothing baked. There is only a handful of flour in my jar and a little oil in my jug. Just now I was collecting a couple of sticks to go in and prepare something for myself and my son. When we have eaten it, we shall die." "Do not be afraid," Elijah said to her. "Go and do as you propose. But first make me a little cake and bring it to me. Then you can prepare something for yourself and your son. For the Lord, the God of Israel, says, 'The jar of flour shall not go empty, nor the jug of oil run dry, until the day when the Lord sends rain upon the earth.'" She left and did as Elijah had said. She was able to eat for a year, and he and her son as well. The jar of flour did not go empty, nor the jug of oil run dry, as the Lord had foretold through Elijah. Our psalm today is one that cannot be sung because I could not find a music sheet, a responsorial psalm sheet for it. But it is Psalm 4, verses 2 through 5 and 7 through 8. "Answer when I call, my saving God. In my troubles you cleared a way. Show me favor, hear my prayer. How long will you people mock my honor? Love what is worthless, chase after lies. Know that the Lord works wonders for the faithful. The Lord hears when I call out. Tremble and do not sin. Upon your beds ponder in silence. Many say, 'May we see better times. Lord, show us the light of your face.' But you have given my heart more joy than any have when grain and wine abound." The gospel message for today comes from Matthew 5, verses 13 through 16. "You are the salt of the earth, but if salt loses its taste, with what can it be seasoned? It is no longer good for anything but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A city set on a mountain cannot be hidden, nor do they light a lamp and then put it under a bushel basket. It is set on a lampstand, where it gives light to all in the house. Just so your light must shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your heavenly Father." Today's gospel and reading go together quite well. In our reading, we meet the widow who is afraid to follow Elijah's commands because she fears she will not have enough for her and her son. If she makes Elijah some food, her human side is telling her she doesn't have enough. Then, in our gospel, we're told that we are the light of this world. We are to shine brightly for all to see. Are we literally lights? Obviously not. But we are told by God that we are to be light for the world by our words and our actions. We are to show the world what it means to be a child of the light. Even when the light seems dim or about to go out, there are things we can do ourselves to turn our own lights around. We can take the time to recharge our own lights by praying, or even doing something relaxing that makes you think deeply or spiritually, such as a nature walk or just sitting on the back porch. We must never be afraid to say yes to something we feel and know God is sending us to do, even when it appears we have nothing left to give. He calls us to something greater and brings us through it. For the first time in ever, there is no Saint of the Week this week. So we will go right to the Fan of the Week. This week's Fan of the Week is finally my fiancé, Dustin. He was able to answer this week's question, which the answer was, who let the dogs out? And you're welcome, now that I know that song is stuck in your head. He finally got Fan of the Week status after a few seasons of not even trying to answer a question. He is also the one that came up with the Fan of the Season idea. So from now on, I'm keeping track of whoever gets the most Fan of the Week titles. And whoever has the most is the Fan of the Season and will get a special prize. The question for this week will be posted on Thursday, and I will see you next week.